Yo, what's up guys, it's King Sean here, and in today's video, I want to talk about the running back prospects in this year's draft, and I want to talk about whether B-Rob should be outright replaced, or should we find a complement for him, right? So, I'm going to be talking about that in today's video, but before we do, make sure y'all leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up, turn on notifications so you don't miss a single one of my videos this offseason, and with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so I was actually going to plan on recording this video earlier in the off season, like a month or two ago, but I decided to just wait a little bit until after free agency. So after free agency and moving into the draft, so I'm going to talk about more and more draft topics, and one of those topics is this running back class, which is absolutely stacked, right? We've talked about this since really last season, the end of last season. We need a running back with real dynamic speed and home run hitting ability. We haven't had a back like that since, I don't even know who, right? We drafted Darius Geis back in 2018 to do that. Obviously, he didn't work out. Bryce Love in 2019, but, injuries hindered him. He didn't work out at all. So, we haven't had a dynamic running back in, I don't even know when. Like a dynamic home run hitting back. And that's what we need on this team. I love B-Rob, and I think B-Rob gets more hate than he deserves, right? More slander than he deserves, because he's not that bad, and not all of the run game woes are on him, right? Like, the run blocking was abysmal after the bye week. It was terrible. The O-line was getting manhandled by the Eagles, the Saints. The run blocking was really, really bad. So at times, what could B-Rob do, right? And like when C-Rod would get put in the game where he would have nowhere to go, the fans blame it on the run blocking, right? But when B-Rob, does nothing, the fans blame it on him, right? So like, it's just a mix of both in my opinion. It's some stuff on B-Rob, but some stuff on the O-line as well. Like there was definitely times last season where B-Rob had a hole to go through and he just decided to look for contact and not go through that hole or try and find another open hole to go through, right? So his vision is not great, and it would be nice to have a back with really good vision and explosiveness, right? Because I feel like, I'm not trying to compare, B-Rob to David Montgomery or anything like that, but I kind of want what the Lions have. An explosive running back in Jahmyr Gibbs who has home run hitting ability, as well as a power thunderback in David Montgomery. Now, B-Rob is not David Montgomery. David Montgomery is a lot more explosive, has better vision, so he's better than B-Rob, right? But I just want a guy who has home run hitting speed, home run hitting ability, very dynamic, has really good vision, and can hit a hole hard, super pause, but can just hit a hole hard and, just take it all the way to the house, right? We don't have a guy like that. And having a guy like that to complement B-Rob, and having B-Rob as your thunder or power back, and a guy you can put in the game, second and short, third and short, to get you those yards, or maybe in goal line situations. I feel like having B-Rob in that role and drafting a running back who has home run hitting ability would be perfect for us. So now let's talk about some of the options at running back and realistic options, right? Because after free agency, we know what our top needs are going into the draft. In my opinion, it's edge rusher, cornerback, and dynamic, explosive running back, right? Now, although those are our needs, we're not going to reach for our needs, right? Like our first two picks, and I expect us to acquire more picks. I expect us to trade back from either 29 or 61 to acquire more picks. So, there's that, right? I don't expect us to only pick 5 times in the draft, and I do expect us to make like a couple more picks on day 2 of the draft, right? But right now we only have 5 picks and a first round pick and a second round pick, so only 2 top 65 picks right now, right? So, we really got to see, but I feel like we're going to go BPA. We're not going to reach for needs, and instead, just try and go BPA. And if we're going to do that, there's some really good running back options. This running back draft class is stacked. You can grab a running back in like the 4th round, which honestly, I feel like it's very realistic for us, and I wouldn't mind that at all. Like, it really depends on what you want. Like, do you want a running back to straight up replace B-Rob, or do you want a running back to complement B-Rob? If you want a guy to straight up replace B-Rob, then I got 3 options for you: Omarion Hampton, Quinshon Judkins, and Caleb Johnson. Let's start with Hampton, who I don't think is going to be there at 29. Like, he's just so good. I think a team is going to pick him before he gets to our pick. Maybe if he's there, then we could pick him, right? But I don't think he's going to be there at 29, right? He's an absolute dog. He's probably the best all-around running back in this draft. Like, Ashton Jeanty is the best runner by far, but if we're talking about all-around back, like receiving threat, rushing threat, obviously, right? Blocking, all that combined, Omarion Hampton might be the best running back in this draft. I don't think it's too crazy to say that, right? So he's a beast, but if you draft him, he's a every down back, right? So there's really no point for a B-Rob. There will still be a point for an Ekeler, right? Because although Hampton can catch it out of the backfield, Ekeler can be your primary guy to catch it out of the backfield if you were to still draft Omarion Hampton, right? With B-Rob, I mean, there's just no use for him, right? I mean, you're going to use Omarion Hampton on almost every single down, and when he's not on the field, it'll probably be Ekeler on the field because he's really good as a receiving back, and he's really good at blocking as well. Quinshon Judkins is another guy that would probably just straight up replace B-Rob. He and Hampton have very similar body builds or body types. However, I think their play style is a little different, but Judkins is still an all-around three-down back, so he would most likely come in and replace B-Rob, right? And then Caleb Johnson is another guy who kind of has that physicality like B-Rob, but also has some explosiveness as well. And I feel like he is a three-down back as well, right? So if you want a three-down back to replace B-Rob straight up, then Hampton, Judkins, or Caleb Johnson is your guy. Maybe you like Cam Scatterbo, who's a power back, physical back, but Caleb Johnson, Omarion Hampton, Quinshon Judkins, if you want to replace B-Rob straight up, then grabbing one of those guys is probably your best bet to do so. Now, if you're one of those people who just want a compliment for B-Rob, you don't want to move on from B-Rob, you don't want to replace him, but you just want a compliment for him, right? A guy who is very dynamic, speedy, has home run hitting threat, right? Then here are some options for you, and there are a ton of options. I'm not going to go over every one, but I'll go over some. TreVeyon Henderson, for me, he's at the top of the list in terms of a guy who can be a really good complement to B-Rob. He has great explosion, great speed. He can catch it out of the backfield very well. He is literally the definition of a home run hitting running back. He's a great third down back as well, man. And if we were to draft him, he would be used like that. He's a really good pass protector. He can catch it out of the backfield very well. So you draft TreVeyon Henderson, he'd be a really good complement to B-Rob. Another guy who I absolutely love, he's one of my favorite backs in this entire draft. Running back out of Tennessee, Dylan Sampson, man, he's so explosive. He's the guy I want if you're talking about looking for a guy who can be a really good complement for B-Rob, has home run hitting ability, has great speed. Sampson's your guy. Along with having great speed, great explosion, he also has really good vision as well, and B-Rob does not have that. So getting a guy who not only has good speed, burst, also has good vision, yeah, give me that guy. Dylan Sampson, I would absolutely love it if we draft him, and he might fall a little bit, right? Like, I feel like he's a third-round running back, but because of how stacked this class is, he may ultimately fall to, like, the fourth round, right? So we'll see. So we may be able to get him a little bit later, but Sampson's a guy I would definitely be interested in. Man, there's so many good running back options in this draft. Like, we're going to leave, with the running back from this draft. I'm not worried at all. I know we re-signed Chris Rodriguez and Jeremy McNichols. Those two re-signings don't prevent us from drafting a running back at all, man, because we don't have any guy on our roster at the running back position here after this season, right? So, and you don't extend running backs unless they're so good, unless they're so elite, which none of our running backs are. You're not gonna, re-signing a running back, right? So it only makes sense for us to draft a running back for that reason, and because this running back class is loaded. So, if anybody is worried that we're not gonna draft a running back, trust me, we are. So just wanted to get that out of the way real quick. Bashol Tutton, he blew up the combine. He's another guy who has great speed, great home running, hitting ability. He does have fumble issues, right, which is a concern to me, not gonna lie. If we picked him, at some point during the draft, I would not mind that at all. DJ Giddens, he's been receiving a lot of buzz lately. He's a guy that has same explosion, same dynamic ability, so he's another guy. He's been buzzing, so he may be picked earlier than people have him projected right now, so we'll see if we decide to target him. RJ Harvey, I like him as well out of UCF. Brashard Smith, Jaden Blue. I mean, just so many options as I'm going down this list, man. So many guys that are dynamic backs. So that's about it for today's video. I want you guys to leave your opinion down below. Would you rather replace B-Rob straight up, or would you rather draft a complement to him, and that complement has dynamic home run hitting ability, right? So complement or straight up replacement? Let me know in the comment section down below, and let me know some of your favorite running back prospects in this year's draft. And that is it for today's video once again. And other than that, it's been King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.